left click, paste. Okay, now I'm going to copy the frames from the Monty Run, you know, from, if I just select it, just from frame 76, and then paste them onto the Monty Walk. Now, in the past, used to be able to shift select everything like this, not the geometry, and just cut and paste it. But now, from 2017-18 onwards, you have to kind of select the controls in order. So I'll go foot in front of me, this foot, this, and then the top squash and stretch control. At 76, I'll select these frames by pressing Shift and left mouse click, then I'll right mouse click copy, then I'll go to the walk, and then I'll select the same controls in the same order, this foot, then this, then that, then this, then that, and then I'll go to frame 76, right mouse click and go paste. And what you see now is I have pasted those keys from there onto this. Yeah, so it goes like that, walking to this. Okay, so now, of course, I've pasted it on. So the next thing I'm going to do, so if I'll just play it through, is I've got Monty walking, and then there's just, it's a bit of a jump, you can see from this to this. So let's have a quick look. Let's have a look at what's going on. So the important thing is the transition here, and it was at 76. So let's have a look. So this, first of all, I'm going to go in and look at some of the controls, and I'll go into the first thing you notice is at 75, 76. There's quite a big move here, so I'm going to drop this down a bit. Make sure it's a flat tangent, and then just curve it like this. So I don't want big jumps. And I'll go to translate Y. This is okay actually, maybe it's a bit, it's okay. The Z, maybe I could lift this up slightly. I could lift all of these up a bit. The rotation, 70, here I can see that this is dropped down here. I'll just delete this frame. The rotate Y, again, we've got this big jump here. I'm just going to delete it. And the rotate Z, it seems fine. So I've kind of made some subtle changes just so there's not a big jump there. And I'll do the same for this foot. And again, it was 75 that I made the transition. So I'm looking at translate X, and I can see there's a big shift here over one frame. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this frame and delete this frame so we have a smoother transition. And here, 76 again, I can see there's a big, I'm going to drop this down a bit, make sure it's a flat tangent, drop it down a bit further, drop this down as well. And here, 76, that looks okay. This one I'm going to drop down, make sure it's a flat tangent as well, just drop it down a bit. There, so we don't have such a big shift. Something like that. The rotate Y, I'm going to shift up this way, like this. I might shift them all up a little bit, these curves. And then the rotate Z looks fine, so that's okay. Now I'll go up to the body and try and iron out any of the big changes there between the two cycles. Remember, this is where I join the cycles. So translate Y on 76, I can see that's quite big. I'm actually just going to delete that. Now, I don't want straight lines, so I'm going to drop this down a little bit, because I also want the character, well, I'm going to want the character to go down. I'm going to just, I can see there's a big change here between these two, so I'm going to delete these two frames. So you've got a smoother switch here. The rotate X on 76 again is one frame where it's dropping down. I'll delete that altogether, so I have, it doesn't drop down like that, and I'll move that. This 76, I'm going to move this up slightly, make sure it's a flat tangent so it's a smoother transition. And the rotate Z, I'm just going to bring this down. There we go, a bit like this. Now, so, and squash and stretch, what do I, does this look okay? This one here. This doesn't look too bad. So one thing I want to do too is, because he's going from quite a slow walk to a fast walk, I want to have a bit more kind of power in this. But before I do that, I'm going to look at, well, one thing I should say, I don't need the Monty Run anymore if I turn this on. I actually don't need it because I've cut the frames off it. I can delete the Monty Run here. I can delete all this stuff, which is from the Monty Run, yeah? So I can just get rid of it all. I can get rid of the Monty Run. I can delete this layer because all my animation is now on the Monty Walk, yeah? But what I'm going to do is I'm also going to start moving the control for the Monty Walk forward. So presently it goes up to 76 and then it stops. Well, I'm going to change this. I'm going to make the curves, as opposed to constant, I'm going to make them linear. And I'm going to take this curve here, and instead of having it a flat tangent, I'm going to have it a spline tangent, so it goes up in the air. Right, so I'm going to try and see how far I'm going to add a key onto this using keys, insert key tool, make a key here, just so I can start moving this forward. And now I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to move this up a bit, so I'm increasing the gradient. You see, so we have a line that goes like this, and then it kind of goes up slowly. Now I'm going to look at this, look at the foot, see if it's sliding. So I go from that, so that's fine. I can see this is sliding back already slightly. But if I look at it in the this view, you can see it better. I'll just get rid of the grid, and I'm going to look at this through the orthographic left. So it's the same direction as the one that it's walking in. And I'm going to turn everything off except the polygons and the NURBS curves. Sorry, polygons, where are they? Yeah. And I'll look at this. Now I can see this foot is sliding backwards. Okay, I can see this leg slipping backwards. So one thing I can do in the left view, in the side view, is create a primitive like a cube. I can just drag this cube, I'll make it a bit bigger. I can just drag it like this and line it up with the front of the foot. So I can see how much the foot's slipping backwards. So I can see it slipping back that much. So what I can do is I can go into this control again, and I can just increase, you know, the level. I'm just going to take this off, of the incline of this. I'll make sure tangents are going straight up, that they're not broken like this. And then I can see this slipping a little bit back there, so I can put another one on, and I'll make sure it's on a spline so it's still going up, and push this forward slightly, and then so you have this 1, 2, yeah, and off it goes. Now if I was to look at this, I'll just show you in this, if I was to look at what this looks like now, what I will have is probably a bit of a jump, like, so here's Monty walking, and he's walking very slowly, and then, you know, this is, it feels unnatural. It feels like the run is very fast. So part of the problem is the switch of pace is too quick from the walk, even walking fast, to the run. So the way to deal with it is this. Now I can see that if I was to look at the run cycle here and just look at this foot closely, I can see that the foot isn't really sliding at all. So I know that, you know, from this bit on here, this gradient is fine for the actual cycle itself. But the problem is this join here. It's too sharp, this bend from, if I can show you, this bend from this to this. I'm going to make this smoother. So what I'm going to do is at frame 80, I'm going to make another keyframe. So I go keys, insert key tool. I make a keyframe here. And when you press automatic, because I've got mine set to automatic, it's always giving me these flat tangents. I'll make it a spline tangent. And then I'm just going to get rid of these frames here. So I'll get rid of this frame and frame 74 before the join, and I'll get rid of these frames, 2 frames after it. And then I'm going to make this frame, this flatter, this tangent. So a little bit more like this or like that. And I'm going to push this up slightly. I can see it's bending in a bit. Just push it up a little bit like this. So we've got more of a